Hey, you guys, how are you? How are you? How are you? So, listen, I wanted to come to you today as your nonprofit expert to talk to you all about the real challenges that you want to be prepared for when you are starting your nonprofit organization. Remembering that it is a business, remembering that you have to have a customer, remembering that you've got to have a product and a service of value, remembering that people who support your organization, people that you meet, people that you engage, what is the return on that investment? For those of you all who are new to me, I am Jennifer Yarbrough. Over 37 years of experience helping nonprofit leaders start, grow, and sustain their businesses. I can't tell you how many times a day I speak with organizational leaders who are tired, who are exhausted, who are frustrated, who are feeling stuck and undervalued, overworked, underappreciated, and overwhelmed behind the work. I understand what it is to want to make a difference, to be passionate about a cause. And I also understand the burden, the weight that comes with doing the work all by yourself, right? If I could say anything to support you, to encourage you, to direct you, it is to make sure that you are intentional about the business of the nonprofit, down to selecting people who are on your board. I can't tell you how many people say to me every day that their board is not engaged, not participating, not a working board, a board in name only, a board that is not supportive through action in helping the organization generate the revenue that's needed to support the cause. I can't tell you how many organizations I speak to a day that confess and profess to be volunteer led because there's not enough revenue to pay for skilled staff or skill sets to help the organization move forward. And that includes fundraising skill set, that includes grant writing skill set, that includes programmatic evaluation skill set, that includes donor acquisition, donor cultivation skill set. These are all the areas that bring in revenue. Can you imagine, and this is what I say to myself every day, that these organizations have started but don't have the skill set? The executive director doesn't know what they don't know. They don't have the experience. They don't have the point of reference. They don't have the guidance. They don't have the roadmap. They don't have the leadership ability yet to grow the organization. Why is that? Listen, the answer to that question is vast and broad. But today I want to talk to you about being aware, being alert, and prepared for those challenges. When you are thinking about, and this may be in the case of you who've already done it, a nonprofit organization, what is that? That is a tax-exempt business. It is a business that is created and in place to serve and to improve the lives across the board of your community. I say this every single day, and many of you who've been following me for a while, you can attest to this, that impact is not the same as activity. After being in this work for so long and having to support close to 1,000 organizations every year, that was my job. I can tell you that the issue of money, overcoming the challenges, reaching for opportunities come from your ability to articulate impact. What is impact? Impact is the change. Impact is the proof, the evidence that your program met the need fixed the problem, right? Changed the people who were in your program, changed their lives, not just for the better, but how, so that they don't then go back to doing the things that got them into the area or issue of need in the first place. That impact is what's important. The challenge of starting a nonprofit comes from not only believing that because your program is so powerful, or that you see a need and you want to do something, right? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But just because you arrive, right? Build it and they'll come philosophy. It's not realistic and it doesn't work, particularly when there are other organizations in your community doing similar work. Think about that. And there are funders already committed, possibly, to those organizations that do similar work. So how do you stand out? What sets your organization, your business model, your program apart? That's knowing what those other organizations are doing and who supports them, right? I want you all to be very clear about a couple of things. One, you need your community, right? And so I advise, organizations that before you start, and starting is not just getting your paperwork done. Starting is not just identifying 3 or 4 people to be on your board. Starting is understanding what it takes, what it is going to involve and include, and having the plan to not just start, but to sustain it. For those of you who are funding everything out of your pocket, I had a conversation today and it broke my heart, because I have this conversation at least 3 or 4 times a week, where a person started their nonprofit organization, they have gone through their savings into their 401k, and now they're desperate. How many of you all are at that point of desperation, that you have spent all of your resources, you have taken away from your household, you have robbed Peter and not been able to pay Paul, and you're still in the same position? Why is that? I believe it's because we did not start properly. We did not start the business with the mindset, with the clarity, with the understanding, and the capacity, the ability to do the things that are necessary to generate revenue for the organization. And for those of you who say, I can't afford help, I can't afford experts, I can't afford someone who is skilled in this area, I can't afford to hire, right? I don't have the money. But what you use the money for are on programs, on events that now you can't even fund, you can't continue, right? So you cannot start afraid to invest in the things that are going to raise your skill set, raise your ability and capability, raise the number of people that need to do all the work that needs to be done. That if you are in fact doing everything by yourself, you cannot start building a house, lay the foundation, don't know how to put in the windows, don't know how to lay the electrical, the plumbing we don't have a clue about, right? Don't forget the roof, right? And now we've got a house half built and you want someone to fund it. I get it. When you are talking about starting means I know what it's going to take. I know that it's going to take the community. You know it's going to take the community, and not just the community of people that you want to serve, but it's also going to take people, businesses, funders, grant funders, right? It's going to take programs and fees and services and other ways of generating revenue so that you can continue. Do not start another organization and you don't know how to support it or sustain it, or thinking that your support of it, you're sustaining it, and the people that you've put on your board and requiring that each of them divvy up the budget, right? That means you might have 4 or 5 people who are trying to carry the weight of the organization. It's not sustainable. So when you start, you're thinking about what is it going to take to sustain this, right? It's going to take connections. It's going to take relationships. It's going to take visibility. It's going to take communications. It's going to take the articulation of your impact. It's going to take, right, people understanding the return on the investment. Supporting your business, supporting your nonprofit is not a one-way transaction. It's a two-way transaction. So when you are starting thinking about what's my part, the organization's part of that transaction, that you're not just telling them what your organization does or why it's important or why nothing is being done and that's why you're doing it, or your passion is what prompted you to start this organization. The funder doesn't care about that. They're wanting to know what's in it for me. What's in it for me, the donor, the funder, the supporter, the contributor, right? What's in it for me for the check that I'm writing? I had a conversation today. And again, these are conversations that I have every day. And she said to me, we've been supported where a donor gave us $15,000. And I said, do you know why that donor gave you $15,000? And she was like, no. I said, has that donor given again? She said, no. I said, do you know why? No. And I'm thinking, what? As a donor type, model, face, wanting to know what prompted this donor to give $15,000. Was it because they had some relevant experience in your program, because they see the value in the program for some way for themselves, right? Who writes a check for $15,000 if they are not going to get a return on that investment? What is it that causes, that motivates, that inspires the donor to want to give $15,000? Oh, they had it. You don't know what they have. When they write you the check, you have no idea what they have in their wallet, in their bank account, at their disposal. You have no idea, right? So it is important, as I expressed to this beautiful soul today, that when you start your organization, it's important that you know what motivates, what inspires, what compels, what causes a person to give you that kind of money, right? Is it just because you're a nonprofit? Is it just because you're passionate? No, there has to be something in it for them. Either they have experience in the program, they've gone through something similar themselves, and they want to help and make sure that no one else goes through it. They just think that it's good to give. They have such excess, they want to give again. They may think that because they care about the community, that giving is a good investment because it's important to them, whatever the reason. Knowing why those people give is going to help you match and mirror similar people. Now, people give for different reasons. And so it's important that when you start your business, that you know why people give, right? There are those people who go shopping and they're the window shoppers. They're the ones that always want to buy, but they got to wait until that windfall, right? Their taxes come in or they get some type of bonus of some kind, unexpected cash that they have laying around, and then they feel compelled to splurge. But then there are those who budget. There are those who set aside funds to give to organizations in their community. All of it is great, but it is your job, it is your responsibility, it is your opportunity that when you are starting your nonprofit, you understand why people give. You know what motivates, you know what inspires, you know what causes them to be excited so that you can speak to that. Being able to articulate the return on the investment. For the investor, the person that just says this is a good investment, you got to tell them what's the return on that investment, right? Listen, starting anything that you've never done before is difficult, not impossible, but you got to acknowledge that it's difficult. And so when you are embarking on those things that you've never done before, it behooves you to have as much experience around you as possible to help you navigate, to help you to decipher, to help you to overcome challenges. Having a coach, having someone that can walk you through because they've been through is your best investment. Now, there are those people who, think Uncle Google and YouTube University is their solution. How's that working out? You want to know what the tools are. What's the tools, Jen? You need the tools of donor cultivation. You need the tools for donor acquisition. You need the tools of grant writing and grant seeking. You need the tools of business development, business relationship, for sponsorship opportunities. You need the tools of connecting with those that would and could support your cause and your organization. You need the tools of being able to remain in touch and top of mind. You need the tools of marketing. You need the tools of social media. Okay? You need the tools of finance, understanding what it costs to not only start, but to month by month to run, right? To run the program and the services with the right equipment and resources and staffing if necessary. And even if your organization is a volunteer-led or volunteer supported organization, it still takes money. You need money for equipment, you need money for services, you need money for fees, you need money for memberships, you need money for Zoom, you need money for all your phone, you need money to run the organization. So when you are putting all of your resources into the program and not putting money into bringing money into the organization, can you see how lopsided that is? Can you relate that you're just focusing on an area of the business that's all expense, right? The program is all expense. But if you're not also investing, putting money in the areas where there's revenue coming in, it's lopsided. It's lopsided, right? It is your opportunity to start strong, to change course if necessary. I can't tell you how many people get on my calendar and say, Jen, I started the wrong way and I feel like I have to revamp and start all over. And if you have to do that, that's okay. Do it quicker than later. I'm just trying to speak to those of you who, again, are frustrated, you're fatigued, you're disillusioned. You had passion, and I want you to keep that passion because the work that you do is so important. The change that you are positioned through your mission to make in your community is priceless. And the value of your impact cannot be measured. But you've got to be the leader. You've got to know how and what to do. You are the person. You are the visionary. But if you don't have the resources, then you wind up having to wear all the hats. Can anyone attest to that? So what do? You put together a strategic plan. A plan for these are the areas that we do well in. And these are the goals that we need to set to expand. Expand in finance, expand in relationship, expand in donors and partners, expand in your reach of visibility, because that be more people who know about what you do, more people who see the work that you do are then those that would be inspired and motivated to give to what you do. Your reach of using the tools at your disposal more efficiently and effectively. Listen, it doesn't matter if you've got 100 followers on Facebook, but none of them are contributing to your organization. It doesn't matter if you've got 50,000 people who like your program, your posts, but are not contributing, right? You need cash. Can I just say that? You need cash, honey. You need cash to ensure that your program and your organization have what it needs. Y'all, there is nothing that you can say to me that surprises me. There is nothing that you can say in terms of the challenges that your organization is facing that I've not done myself as an executive director or helped other organizations to do. It is my task every single day to share my process, to share the best strategies, to give you the right tools and the information to make you a stronger leader, more knowledgeable about the business of the nonprofit, and to help you navigate and negotiate on a holistic level. Everything is not compartmentalized, right? The areas of grants, Jen, I need grants. Well, that automatically ties to your ability to raise money from donors and funders and corporate sponsors, right? Automatically, it goes to another area that you need to be aware of. Nothing operates in the business in a silo, right? Your events. Jen, we had an event, but we didn't raise money. Well, that automatically goes to your marketing. That goes to your social media. That goes to your visibility. That goes to your communicating and articulating impact, right? You've got a great program. Well, that automatically ties to your finances and being able to leverage what it costs to deliver this program as opposed to how much money are you bringing in, right? So when you are looking at your organization in the area of silo, that means all I need is a grant. No, we also need to understand finance. We also need to understand where resources are coming into this organization. Why? Because the funder is going to want to know a budget. Well, what's a budget, Jen? A budget is not just your programmatic or your organizational expenses, it's also your revenue, right? Your revenue comes from awareness. That then ties to your communication. That ties to the visibility of your organization. That ties to the people who are speaking about your program, your organization, and its impact. Right? When we're talking about wanting to expand our program or your program, then we're talking about, again, communication, we're talking about finance, we're talking about relationship, not just the people who are in your program, but how do you pay for and cover and sustain, right, that growth? It works together in a cycle and system. Nothing is in a silo. Nothing. It is important from your purview as the executive director that you understand the system of the business, the communication system, the donor acquisition cultivation system, the finance system, right? The organizational system in terms of staffing and in terms of capacity and team building and skill set, right? It also comes with the articulation, being able to show and demonstrate and engage. There is nothing in this business that I don't love. And there is nothing that brings me more joy and fulfillment than helping leaders understand the systems of the business, not just the program. You may have started your nonprofit because you love the program, but the program is not going to support you. And because you have the program, that doesn't mean you're going to get donors or supporters or even a grant. Those of you who got your piece of paper and then say, oh my gosh, I got my piece of paper. That is grounds to celebrate. But that's not going to be the reason that funders give you money. If you're wanting to start a program, you've never done it before, more than ever, you need a plan. And that needs to be conveyed to the funder because you have no evidence of impact. So then you've got to communicate and share what type of impact you will achieve based upon your goals, based upon your capacity, based upon the skill sets of the people that are overseeing that process. There has to be a value, the return on the investment. That's business. Value and return on investment. Listen, I hope that something that I have said has brought clarity, has brought an answer and a solution, and caused you to assess yourself, right? Your community assesses you. Your prospective donors, those who have given to you, they assess, how is my money spent? They assess, is this the place where I want to contribute and make a donation and a contribution? And I want you to be able to get a resounding yes to that answer from your community, remembering that the people that you serve are not your donors and supporters. So you have to think with and for them in mind, right? Your donors and contributors. And so understanding that process is important when you start. Guys, I hope that something I have said has been helpful. I hope that something that I have said has been inspirational. I hope that something that I have said has given you a glimpse of relief that's available for those of you who are overworked and underappreciated, undervalued in the area of finance and revenue. And hopefully will give you some cause to ask for some direction. It would be my opportunity, my pleasure, to have the opportunity to share my 37 years of experience with you. There are lots of ways to work with me, lots and lots of ways. There are lots of programs, lots of resources that are available to you. And I want you to just take advantage, to be aware of, and to consider seriously investing in yourself, getting a coach, understanding the system of success for this business. It doesn't come by chance. It doesn't come and fall from the sky. It's intentional. And like with anything, the person who has the most experience is usually the one that's the most successful. And so don't feel slighted. I just don't want you to feel discouraged. I don't want you to feel defeated. When we're stuck, it's because there's something we don't know. When we can't figure out how to get out of this place, it's because we don't know. We've never been this place before. It would be my opportunity, my pleasure to share with you my experience of working with thousands, literally, of organizations of all levels. Those that started at the kitchen table, those that have, been at a place of success and may be stuck, and those that are, well advanced but need some additional support. Having the right team with you, behind you, and having the right direction is going to be able to take you to the place you want to go. I would love to hear from you. Please comment below if there's anything that I've said today that has inspired you, that has caused you to say, aha. Leave a comment. Like this video, and of course share and follow. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the work that you do, and it would be my pleasure to share with you some tools, some resources, some coaching, some classes that will help you not only gain in head knowledge, but in do knowledge. Practical things that are going to help your organization move forward. My process of not only just doing the work, but also helping others to be successful at that. I got an email this week from an organization that I started working with probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And when they came to me, they had a donor list of under 400. Most of them were family and friends. And she shared with me this week that they now have over 20,000 donors and contributors, and they are fully funded, following the steps, using the tools, and being informed on how to do it properly. Okay, they were doing it, they just weren't doing it properly. And the relief that they gained by knowing what to do, when to do it, and how to do it correctly. I would love to give that same opportunity to those of you who find that interesting. If that is you, feel free to get on my calendar at www.timewithjen, that's TIMEWITHJEN.com. Go to my website, jdyarbrough.com. That's www.jddavid.yarbrough.com. Take advantage of the 20 minutes of consult that I offer, where I'll answer your questions and share with you some of the systems and processes and tools and resources and services that we offer for you, my team and I. We're here to help. We're here to show. We're here to walk alongside. And we're here to help ensure that the work gets done that needs to get done to generate money so that you have the skills, the resources, the equipment that is needed to not just start your nonprofit, but to grow it. Don't be afraid. Get the help that you need, okay? It's here. Again, thank you all so much for being a part of this amazing community. Thank you for your likes, for your shares, for your comments. Thank you so much for your consistency and your desire to change your organization and your community, right? Remembering that nothing is a silo. Everything works together. And I hope that I get an opportunity to work with you as well. All right. You all have a great rest of your day and evening, and I will see you all next time.